And Kev, I know, so congratulate you on becoming BSU new publicity coordinator. And as a publicity coordinator, you know, it's a big job of basically getting situations out there like this. And like, I know, how do you feel that we should definitely go about making sure any situation that is swept under the rug is pushed to the storefront, whether it's Buffalo news, SA news, any type of news that we can make sure that our people are being represented and that this is going on and this should be out there.
Well, the first thing I feel, of course, would be the programs, because that's how a lot of us get informed. You know, our organizations come together to give one issue, but separately we all give issues all the time. So that's the first wave that we can inflict. You know, at the program at the end, we signed a petition to go down there to get Michael Bell out of jail. That's the second wave. Now we're trying to see if we can form some kind of a rally. That's the third wave. You know, everything has to happen in progressions. We can't just expect everyone to hop out of their seats, you know. But if we keep on progression and we allow people to know that we're here and we're not leaving, that's when things start to get done. It's when us as college students decide that we're not going to sit around to allow the adults to handle things, you know? Because these are issues that are happening to us, as I said before. These are young students. These are young males that are down there. They're not adults, quote unquote, once again, you know? These are kids that could be in our situation. So us, as young adults, we should be the first ones to get out there and say, this is a problem, we want to help.
Yeah, AJ, if I could bounce off of him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, when I said it's in 1967, it's not even in a bad way. It's the fact that behind every civil rights movement, college students were behind it.
Exactly.
And throughout time, college students have become, like, they've just been, like, to the point that they sit there and they're like, oh, like, they're used to not doing anything. You know, and now to see that all these college people going to Jena, you know, to see us doing stuff is like, you know, we're going back to our old ways of, you know, we have to take control. We have to move things forward. You know, every time it was always a college rally, it was always a college protest that moved things. You know, we tend to forget about that. And now is the time that college students are like, oh, this is going on. I don't even know. They don't even get educated on the issues, yet alone, you know, actually do something about it.
I know, like, one club in particular, which I was doing research on, was Black Student Union as well. I remember during the time, they sent out a list of demands to the president, letting them know we want this, this, that, and the third, and we want this done in 24 hours. And actions was taking place because they came together, collected, and was like, look, we're standing our ground, and this is what we want done. And through that, we got African American Studies program. We got plenty different things done because we came together collectively and stood our ground like, look, we want this done, and this is how we want it done, and if you don't give it to us, it's going to be problems that you really don't want to occur within this university. But I found that to be so extraordinary and so strong as us coming together. And like, how ways do you guys suggest that we should definitely motivate us as Black college students to take collective action, to do more things like that? If we see something wrong, not to overlook it, but to come together like, look, this is a problem and we need to make it happen. How do you guys feel on how about going about actually doing something similar to that? Like he said, for instance, the rally. Are we really going to step up and take that action, or should we play the background or really make something happen?
We definitely got to take the action. And the thing is, to me, a lot of people sit down and say, you know, this doesn't happen or it can't help. I mean, but if you look at it, if it wasn't because of collective action and us forming together, Michael Bell wouldn't have got released.
Exactly.
You know, that's what caused him to get. It took a while, but people moved and did things. You know, and throughout history, that works with BSU, with NAACP. That type of stuff moves. You have to make movement in order for movement to occur. And if we sit down, nothing's gonna happen. You know, even if it's just a small rally, even since he's released and we shouldn't have a rally. No, we should still have a rally. You know why? Because people still aren't educated about that. You still have to educate Buffalo, UB on what's going on. And even, you know, like I said, you have to tell everybody what's going on, because if not, you know, they don't know anything. And you got to, like, inform them, even do a rally, do whatever.
According to estimates, over 1 billion people live in appalling levels of poverty. Denied even basic standards of food, water. Nearly half of the world's population earns less than.
Exactly. And here at Late Night Noise, our main thing is basically to inform, update, and educate. And I thank you all for coming here because we definitely did so by informing, updating, and educating our viewers here. And definitely want to make sure that NAACP, as well as the Brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha and BSU, definitely take the storefront and push out to the Buffalo community as much as possible and making sure we're making things happen. And I believe NAACP has a convention coming to Buffalo. When is this convention?
From the 5th to the 7th in October in the Hyatt Hotel. We're actually going to bury the N-word here at Buffalo on the 5th. It's going to be at the Hyatt Hotel. So we're going to push people to come, and there's going to be a couple social events. But main thing is the workshops and educating people on things that are going on throughout the country and in Buffalo.
Okay, now can Late Night Noise come and be a part and make sure we get this footage on tape?
No doubt.
Okay,
I got you.
Okay. And I know BSU, they have a whole bunch of events going out through the year as like different meetings as well as NAACP. And I know you have a conference which will be taking place, I believe, either it's next year within February or later on this year.
The BSU conference usually is around like February 2nd. I think it's the 2nd or 3rd this year, but it's going to be at the university, and there's going to be a public speaker there as well. So
okay, we definitely want to take part in that.
Definitely.
So we could push everything in Alpha Brothers. Anything going on with your organization?
I mean, well, of course, you know, as the year comes to a close, we always have to, you know, recognize our Founders Week, and you know the date of our founding, December 4th. So of course, you know, we'll have a week of programs and events, and of course, we've already been having, you know, programs and things, you know, from the start of the semester. So always look out for flyers.
All right. Thank you all for coming, Late Nighters. I know you guys been informed, updated, and educated. So make sure you keep it locked in the midst of you checking out these videos. Have any concerns or comments, you can hit us up at dt22@hotmail.com or check out our MySpace account /LNN for life. Thank you all for tuning in, keeping it locked. NAACP, Alpha Phi Alpha, and of course BSU. I thank y'all again. Late Night Noise, y'all. Your girl GV, over and out.
Bienvenue à Paris. C'est le retour de Rush Hour 3 avec Syl.